Here is another layer for this study of blues and greens and purple. That's what I'm officially calling it. I suppose maybe it should be greens and blues and purple. Greens and blues and purple. Yeah, I like that. Deep greens and blues reminds me of a James Taylor song, so I like that. Let's see. Here's my phthalo green blue shade. I have that pretty watery, so I'm trying to get it to more of a kind of a juicy, at least that's what my idea is. Maybe that's a little too juicy. There's a lot of nice paint in this brush right now. So instead of just washing it out, swishing it out in the water and losing all that, I thought I'd just squeeze it back to the pile where I know it is. I will rinse it though to get it good and clean. Maybe I'll do the blue here because I have that kind of all over the place right here. And if you can remember from the last one, from our last episode, it was a little too concentrated and it sort of left a little stain thing. I'm going to just move to the third spot here and try to just make sure that there's sort of no weighting at all. Letting that color sit there sort of unattended to. So same thing for the blue. I'm going to squeeze out the extra into my pile. That's sort of a tricky call, a judgment call. I mean, you could sit here all night and try to conserve every last drop of paint, including this stuff that I'm just soaking up with a thirsty brush, but at some point for me it's not quite worth it just to move on to the next thing to paint. Speaking of the next thing to paint, that was smooth, huh? I will bring over these other colors. Oh, and I guess I've been skipping a row, so I'll keep skipping a row because I have some purple here. I want a little bit more. Like most things I'm painting with watercolor, I'm just sort of assuming that it's not going to be exactly the value or the darkness that I want it to end up as. I did have to grab some more paint there. I'm going to bring in some extra across the top like that. And while I back to that thought about assuming it's not going to be quite right, it is tricky to make very big adjustments in watercolor. But quite easy to do subtle adjustments by either scrubbing out a little color or layering and glazing on a little bit more color. Let's see, now to the skipped ones. I'll go back. I have some cobalt teal over here. That's one of you guys emailing. I don't know if you guys, I just heard an email ding. And cobalt teal is it's a very unique and fun color. I don't know that it's that glamorous just by itself, but it does really cool things and mixes with other colors. It's an example of just sort of, I'm not quite sure how much more time I'm going to need to spend refining the edges. So to buy me some time, I'll just sort of drop in some color up there. So that the whole shape stays pretty consistently wet. And next, this the ultramarine blue, that is quite granulating. So I know I had said I wasn't sure if it was Daniel Smith or M. Graham. I think what I'm going to do, because I'm going to do a really watery layer. I squeezed in a little that I know is M. Graham. And I usually don't mind granulating color, but it seemed like that was getting fairly excessive. So what I'm going to try to do is layer a little bit of watery ultramarine blue over the whole, well, this second pass shape, to see if it sort of tames that down a little bit. It's kind of tricky because I don't really want to make it darker. It's hard to judge right now how dark it's going to be when it dries, but it does look like it's going to be probably a little darker than the others. I'm going to leave it like that, just to kind of see what happens. I can lighten it up. And yeah. Anyways, that's the next one.